Hey, Luke, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, Tom.
Hey,
Glad to
absolutely.
be here.
Glad to have you. Hey, I love to start these off, usually understanding, how you got started and where you're at today. It's my understanding, if I remember correctly, that you were in a roofing business before CompanyCam. Could you tell us a little bit more about
Yep,
the background? Like, how did you even get started there and then where you're at today?
absolutely. So my dad, this goes back to my family. So my dad started, well, he was going to school. He was wanted to be like a coach, like a college basketball coach or some coaching thing. So he was getting like a
Okay.
master's degree in like, I want to say sports science or something that you could get a degree in, like to be like a trainer and a coach. And that was just a bad time. This is maybe like late 70s, early 80s, bad time to get into that. Just job market wasn't great. And so he and a guy, Steve, started this company, White Castle Roofing. So they originally were going to try to do like investments and in properties and stuff. they,
Yep.
they were too cheap, or Steve, I think, was too cheap. So they never really bought anything. They just ended up doing kind of construction. Then they kind of really just they started doing roofing. So
Okay.
growing up, my dad was roofing houses. Then you turn, 12, 13. I'm over there cleaning up the ground. Then you graduate to like ripping off the shingles, and then you graduate to like nailing down the shingles. That's when you've really arrived. So I've done, from I'm 37. So I was born in 1984. It's roughly the year they started the company that they have, the roofing company. I've done like almost every job you can do in the at least at a local roofing company. And
Yeah.
when I was in high school, it was like me and my buddies were the crew, and then my dad would be there in the morning tearing off. And now they've got like 100 and something employees. They've grown a lot. It's been really good. But yeah, so I come from a roofing family, let's say.
Yeah, that success was all they can directly contribute that to your input, right? Tearing off and bringing shingles up the ladder
Yeah,
directly contributed.
well, there was days where I would show up, when I was like in doing sales or managing things, and they would be
Yeah.
like, "Lou, you're getting out of your truck. Oh, is it too hot out here for you?" Like the kind of talk like I've never been on the roof, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Listen,
Yeah.
fellas,
Yeah.
okay, throw me a bundle here. We're gonna see who's the first one to the top." I
Yeah.
was like, "I've roofed plenty of houses, and every now and then I had to remind people, I've roofed a lot of houses, and it sucks. It's a reminder. Hey, stay in school,
Yeah.
figure out something to do because it's hard work to be roofing houses, especially like the older you get."
It's very hard on your body. Absolutely. I've got a very similar story, so I can totally relate. I mean, I remember being told to go to the van and go get the shingle stretcher.
Mhm.
And like
Yeah.
you're told to go get the
Absolutely.
shingle stretcher, you know that you're a novice in this.
You're
If
the
anybody's
you're the new
listening
guy.
and gets told, go grab the shingle stretcher, yeah.
Yeah, and that's there's these sayings like hunting for snipes is another one. Like, oh, we're gonna, and the idea is you're just tricking people, or you're
Yeah.
out of blinker fluid, or
Yeah.
it's like one of these things. There's no shingle stretcher. Like you're getting you're getting yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely had that one happen before. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
great.
so where'd the idea for Company Cam come from?
You know, so I mean, it came slowly and then quickly. Like we were trying to take pictures, like this is kind of 2014 ish. We were, basically everyone had a smartphone by this time. We were trying to take pictures, and I was managing a division, like the kind of roofing, or I'm sorry, the siding and gutters division. And then I was also doing all the marketing for the company. And so I was trying to get photos so that we could plan our jobs. Then I was trying to put photos like up on the website or use them on social media, or just to like get out of some hassle where there was an argument, So we were just trying to take pictures, but guys were like handing me memory cards, or trying to email them, and you couldn't send enough in email. And I tried to do the Dropbox thing, and we just couldn't figure out how do we make it easy for us to get organized, because it was a
Mm.
pain. And then we didn't have what we were looking for. And I remember like driving an hour back out to this job that was like, gosh, it was so far away to figure out what exact color the gutter was. Cause it was like, I was like, is that beaver brown or is that like musket brown? I can't tell from this picture because I
Yeah.
lost, and you're just like frustrated. And so um, I just, I remember I was looking around. I just started Googling, photo app, like GPS photo. I was trying to figure out like we need to get everything organized by the location. If we could just do that, then we could find it later. We like it would solve our problem that was in my mind. And just there wasn't like a way to do that. No one was
Yeah.
doing that. And so I at one point I was listening to some other podcasts and stuff. That was actually a thing I really quite miss about working at a roofing company, not roofing houses personally, but it's like all the time you spend driving around. Like I would listen to like 5 hours of podcasts a day. Just, you're like learning and thinking, and I like that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And so just I run on the ask forgiveness versus permission framework quite often. So
100%,
I just
I'm with you.
hired some engineers for like software, local kind of dev shop, a little group of software engineers to build like the MVP, kind of the first version of it.
Yep.
And we realized we were on to something, but then I also realized pretty quickly that we needed to kind of build a company, not just the V1 of a app, because you guys know there's always things to add. Like you can always make it better, faster, simpler, more features, like better onboarding, better notification. I mean, there's like no shortage of things to work on. And so in March of 2015, hired our first employee and split off from the roofing company completely. And then, that leads us a little over 6 years to now. And we've got almost 115, 120 people. Things are going well. It's been a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's bringing a lot of value, I know, to the industry for something that didn't exist. Like you said, you're not looking at two pieces of software and figuring out how to optimize it. You're like bringing something to the industry that didn't exist before, and so really evangelizing the industry with something new. And I think you guys have almost built a cult following.
Well, I hope so. I've always wanted to have a cult. I talk about that a lot around here. Like, when this is over, will you be in my cult? We're gonna have. It's gonna be pretty chill. There's no suicide, at least not planned. Maybe that we might have to wing it someday. But no, that it. One thing I think we have not done a good enough job of is sort of explaining the way that this is a new thing. Because we started saying, oh, we have photos, we need them organized. It's like the problem that we knew we had. Yeah. We realized as we were kind of started to use it that, once you're doing this in an app that's dedicated to doing this, it really becomes the sort of like flow of information is where the real value is. The idea that it's not like everything's hidden in folders everywhere, to where you can find it. That's a good thing about a folder. Oh, I know I need to go to that job folder. It's going to have all the stuff for that job. But when you kind of pull it out of those folders and you deliver it in like a feed where almost like an Instagram feed, you see everything happening. That was to me kind of like the aha moment where we're like, oh, this is different. Like, even if you could organize a Dropbox for me completely automatically and it was so easy, people would still use this because that sort of like seeing it happen, the drawings and all the stuff like that, just that visual communication piece is so crucial. When you have people out building things, like changing the world. That sounds dramatic, but like changing the physical world, like some ripping things apart, putting them back together, building new stuff, all of that. The photos are kind of they tell the truth. Like, they are the on the ground facts. And then, you can have kind of like text communication over the top of that, but it's really nice if you have all this sort of like shared understanding of what's happening. And that's kind of what I realized we had. And I don't think we've done as good of a job as we should have up to now articulating that distinction, like that new category. They say a lot of times in software, you want to create a category, or you want to you don't want to have competition. Ocean, right? Yeah, exactly. Like you want to, and I feel like we sort of technically did that, but we even now, I struggle to articulate what that exactly is. And it's something like the sort of visual communication and accountability. But that, it's a cult. We're going for a cult. We've got a cult. Now we just need a more dedicated cult. We don't want these like half in, half out, 1 foot in the door cult members.
Yeah. You're either in or
fully
you're
committed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. It's funny. I remember, I probably see you and folks from your team, half a dozen times throughout the year at different events. And I remember very distinctly a couple years ago, uh, I forget, I think it was Gogan, but we were out at an event. It's like everybody that came by the booth was like an existing CompanyCam customer, and like nothing but high fives and handshakes, and he's kissing babies and stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, what are you doing here, man? Like everybody is using CompanyCam, but I know that's not the case, right? There are still folks out there that either don't know what CompanyCam is or for whatever reason don't use it. I mean, what do you say to those guys or girls that have a
Screw
business?
you guys. No, no, it's,
How do you get them to a place of like, I don't need technology, I don't need that. We've been amazing, we're doing everything right. We don't need to do that. What do you
yeah,
say to that?
it's, well, we're trying to constantly build like not just like new features, like we want to do more things, but
Yeah,
what we want to do is to be the best way to capture this information in the field. Right now people are carrying around notebooks, they're using sort of different apps. We want to make it super simple to capture, and then we want to work with everyone else. Like we want that to
yeah,
flow right into Leap so that it can, you can kind of build that sales, like either the proposal, just kind of like execute a sale. Like we see ourselves as being this piece that fits in with the rest of what you're doing.
yeah,
And for us, we don't lean really too hard. I mean, we have like a sales team, and if you download the app, we'll call you and try to, really, we say like we want to show you the value. The
yeah,
idea that we know that if you start using it, you'll probably keep using it, and you'll probably end up becoming a customer. It'll be good for you, good for us. But we make it, we try to make it really easy to get in, really easy to get out, because I just like things that work that way. But to me, the pitch is, I mean, I know from our data, if you start using it, you probably won't stop using it.
yeah,
In that's to say, it really is helpful. And I don't know that I'm smart enough to even explain it properly to you why it is. It's just that you know so much more than you otherwise do when you're using CompanyCam. And it's like, it, but you see it. You just see so many more things happening on any given day. There's way less like uncertainty about like, did the material arrive? How's this job going? Well, like you catch problems. Like it just, that ability to almost like look at every project that's happening as it's happening is really, really valuable. And it'll be valuable for different people in different roles and kind of different ways. But when you start doing that, and you realize you're doing it for, in a sense, as cheap as our app is, people don't want to go back to before, when they didn't know, and it's all these phone calls and text messages, and like you can't find things. We are really trying to make it as simple as possible for that person in the field to capture the state of that project, and for your company to kind of communicate around that and to be able to do accountability based on that. But in such a simple way that it will actually happen, and that there's no excuse for it not happening. There's just no excuse not to capture the photos, and so that you can, as an owner or manager, you can know what's going on. So again, that's convoluted, but it really does come down to just like, you just know so much more. And people, like I was reading today, one of our PMs, which is like a product manager, there's someone who's trying to figure out what new kind of features and stuff to build, was I'm just going to read. Sorry, I'm literally inside of our Slack. I'm going to read. She said she was doing a little survey. It's like, so was there a moment when you thought my company has to use this app, meaning CompanyCam?
yeah,
And they said, yeah, we had a customer giving us issues for paying for the decking that we replaced, and we didn't have pictures saved from the sub. And so it was this big headache. And we realized with CompanyCam, we would have had all those pictures in hand,
yeah,
you know. And someone else said, the customer claimed we damaged their property. We knew we didn't, but we had no proof. And it's like, you go through one of these events, and those are both kind of along the accountability and cover your butt
yeah,
angle. But like, people have these events where they're like, oh, if we would have just done this simple thing, I wouldn't be dealing with this like multi-$1,000 headache right now. And that's really what we're trying to help them avoid. So that's my convoluted sales pitch. Buy CompanyCam.
yeah. Yeah, it seems simple, and I think once you go through that experience, especially when it's something simple like there's a rip screen, and they're blaming your guys for ripping it, and you've got the photo from before that says, no, I'm sorry, like this was ripped. I'm happy to help, but like this was ripped before.
And
Driveway's cracked. It was cracked before the
totally, you
dumpster
just
got there.
you don't know. That's the problem. Half the
Yeah.
time, it's not even they when you're, let's say you're managing one of these projects, or you're the owner of a kind of a normal-ish size roofing company. You want to believe your person in the field who's saying we didn't do this,
Yeah.
but they're not always telling you the truth. Like in half the time, you're kind of caught in the middle. Do I believe my employee? Do I believe this person? How much do I fight this? How much of a headache is this? Should we just replace their gutters or their screen or their driveway, because like I don't want to even deal with this? And most of the time, if you just have the information handy, hey, maybe it was your fault, but you cut out all of that anxiety, that uncertainty, the argument, and you just, okay, we put them on the gutter schedule. And it's hard to, like, even when you end up doing the thing that you would eventually do on the other side, which is like to pay for it, because it probably was your fault, because sometimes it is. Avoiding all of that intermediate he said, she said, that is just, it's really good. And people like
Yeah.
avoiding that.
Yeah. 100%. I'd love to know. You gave us a couple examples, but I'm sure over the last 5, 6, 7 years, you've heard from company cam users of areas where it's just done amazing things for their business. Is there a story or one or two stories that come to mind that you remember or stand out as to the value that company cam brought to them or their business?
Yeah, I mean, so well, there's one story from relatively early on. I think one of the big distributors was using company cam kind of locally, or local-ish. We were in Nebraska. They were in like Illinois, but they had a guy, one of, I don't know, kind of a deadbeat customer of theirs, claimed that he got shorted like 2 squares of shingles on this project.
Yeah.
And they were like, buddy, no way. So the short of it is, this guy calls the cops, and the cops end up at, this distributor, and they're like pulling up company cam, showing the cops like, this guy, like, let's count the bundles that we dropped for this guy, and they were all there, and it was basically like they told this guy to get lost. But the idea that, this roofer brought the cops to the distributor to like argue about the shingles, and he was just trying to scam him, like, it's just
Yeah.
one of these people. So like that really like stuck in my mind. Then we were in Vegas it was probably like 2 months ago now, for the World of Concrete.
Okay.
And our CFO, Tolan, he had someone stop him on the street and was like showing him their company cam. Oh, look, this is why I can be here in Vegas right now. Look, this is what we're doing over here. This is what we're doing over here. And like that, there's something kind of like I was saying before, when you can free yourself up from having to feel like you got to be like actively communicating about all this stuff or running around to all these sites. People say things to us like, it's a game changer, or we couldn't go without it. And it's kind of cheesy. Like, we don't put that in our marketing. It's a
Yeah.
total game changer, says Tom, like, but it is that, like, it does legitimately change the way that they get to run their business, meaning they get more freedom of kind of like where they can be and what they can be doing, while still knowing exactly what's going on and being able to solve problems like more quickly than they did before. Like, I specifically remember I was watching the photos come through, and I noticed that one of our guys had put, his name was Abel, and he probably didn't do it. It was probably someone else, because he's smarter than me. They had the Tyvek, because they were fixing up this chimney, and they had the Tyvek running behind the step flashing. So like, step flashing's coming up from the roof.
Yeah.
And in general, like, water runs downhill. You need,
Right.
then you would face that with the Tyvek. You'd go up, and so you're trying to, like, if anything leaks in up here, it's going to end up coming out at the bottom. And they just had it backwards. And instead of waiting 2 years till we had a leak in that thing, and we would have found out eventually that we did it wrong and that we had a leak. But just watching that photo come through on company cam, I immediately called Abel and was like, hey, you got to get that Tyvek on the front of that step flashing. And he was like, oh yeah, whoops. And we fixed it. It's like that type of stuff. I don't know what that situation will be for the next guy,
Yeah.
but it's just one of those things where when you're seeing it all happen, you find problems or headaches before they're like getting bigger over time, because they always do. You catch them right away. Yeah, it's annoying. You may rip some shingles off, or something like that, pull out a window or two, but way better to catch it 20 minutes after it happens than 2 hours or 2 days or 2 months or 2 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'd love to know, what do you see as next for CompanyCam? Like,
oof.
what are you most excited about? I know you mentioned the growth and things that are happening, feature enhancements, those kind of things. What is there one thing that you're most excited
Yeah,
about?
I mean, I'm excited about a lot, but the thing that I'm most excited about
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
it's a feature that we're calling showcases. And
Okay.
it's a way for you to publish your work directly to your website using CompanyCam. So
Nice.
it's like we kind of run the portfolio on our customers' websites with
Yep.
it's really easy. You put in this little snippet of code and we have people that will help you like get it set up. And then inside of CompanyCam, when you're done with a project, you can just like, you can categorize it like, oh, this was residential roofing or, EPDM or whatever. And then you can mark any products that you used. And so then when your customers come to your site, they've got this sort of beautiful gallery that hopefully has a lot of stuff in it
Yeah.
because it's all in CompanyCam. So it's really easy for them to post it to their website from CompanyCam. It's like one screen, and they post it. And then, but then the customers can come and they can filter through it. They can be like, oh, I want to look at all the landmark weathered wood, or I want to see the like OC duration, whatever their black is called, like in the idea that, or I want to see just Kohler faucets or where they used this type of granite for a countertop, like whatever it might be, the ability for people to go to your site and for you to have this super powerful, robust kind of portfolio of these projects that you've done where people can filter through them, they can look through them. And really what we are like, our company mission is to help build trust through truth and transparency. That's like our MO. We're trying to capture the truth out in the field. We're trying to share it transparently through the organization, which is going to help that organization run with high accountability, which is going to make it trustworthy to their customer. And everyone is looking for a trustworthy contractor. If they knew how to do the roof themselves, they would do it. They want to find someone to do it who they can trust, that's going to charge them fair, it's going to do it right, it's going to show up when they said they would, all of this stuff. And so we're basically thinking, hey, let's help our customer make it as simple as them to show their good work as possible. The simplest thing ever, so that they can get all of this on their website. And when the customers come to their website, they can just browse through it. It just makes them look really good, like they're really reliable and they're transparent. They're showing it. They're showing you the
Yeah.
process, not just like one picture at the end. So that's what I'm the most excited about, is this idea that we can help our customers show off their great work because they're capturing it all with CompanyCam. And then it's good for us because like it has a little like powered by CompanyCam little thing on it, and so it's like
Yeah.
people will hopefully see, oh, this is CompanyCam. This is something you can do with it. Like it's one of those, it's good on both sides.
Yep.
But yeah, in the long term, we want to help the people that are doing great work, that are, honest, good contractors to work for. We want them to win. And then we want the people, like, we want to help them win more than they are. And hopefully at the expense of the sort of shady fly by night, like make a buck today. That I usually run it by short-term versus long-term thinking. Like
Yeah.
short-term thinking is, how do I maximize like today, this week, whatever, but you do that at the expense of the future. Whereas we want to help the contractors who are really playing the long game. We want to win over the 10-year horizon. We think that using CompanyCam will be like instrumental in helping them do that. So
Yeah.
the feature is called Showcases, and
Nice.
that's the one I'm most pumped about at the moment.
And it's already live, or it goes live tomorrow. Is that what you were saying?
No, it is live.
Okay.
It. I think it's live for everyone. We're doing like a 25% a week
Yeah. Yeah.
rollout with it, and we so it might be like at 50 to 75% of people
Sure.
have. But if you're in CompanyCam and you see a project, you click on a project. If there's a button in the top right that says "Post to my website," that is this feature, and then it has the instructions in there, like how to set it up and everything. And
Awesome.
again, you get a hold of us, we will help you, or we can even refer you to like third-party website companies that will help you set it up. But yeah, we are. It is, if not live for everyone, it will be in like the next week or two.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm pumped about it.
That's cool. I know you guys have seen a lot of growth, over the last couple years, several years. What's that been like, and can you speak to anything you've learned throughout that growth period? Challenges, wins. I mean, what's it been like?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. What's it been like? Honestly, it's been great. like you always, when you're the closer you are to something, the more like the slower it feels like it's moving. You
Yeah.
know, where you touch base, you see someone's kid that you haven't seen for 2 years, and you're like, oh my goodness, he's gigantic, like it's growing
Yeah.
so fast. But when you're seeing it every day, it's like you still, kids are the sort of like concrete, they display to you the concrete passage of time.
Yes.
Like they show that to you. Well, so I'm so close to this thing that I'm not, it feels like a lot slower than it is. But then you kind of step back, like moments like right now where we're out, we're fundraising, we're about to close some new funding, and it's like you kind of crazy how far you've come, you know, from a couple of years ago to now. And then you
Yeah.
look at it, we've got you know, before kind of COVID started, we maybe had like 40 people. We've got 115 now.
Yeah.
And but honestly, I don't know that I have any advice, though I have a lot of advice, just none that I've got prepackaged or that would
Yeah.
make any sense.
What was
But
it what you expected though? I mean, the growth going from 40 to 115 employees.
gosh,
I mean,
I
it seems
mean,
like a big change.
it is. And you know, we've been, because of COVID, we like, and partly just where we're trying to grow, we're trying to hire like software engineers.
Yeah.
And so, and well, a lot of other people too, but we just decided we can't be fully in Lincoln, Nebraska anymore. Like
Sure.
we're trying to hire engineers, designers, PMs, like sale, all sorts of stuff. Most of it is local to us in Nebraska, but a lot of it now is just remote. People, you know, we have people in Argentina, all over the United States. We're going to be able to hire people in Canada pretty soon. Like I mean, we want it to be roughly in close enough time zones that we can work together, but it has been different. But in general, we got great people, quite honestly. And especially, I joke that, I mean, I don't do anything. I'm on this podcast. I'm barely competent to do any job whatsoever.
You're getting
I'm
cool
basically
haircuts.
unemployable. Like I look like an absolute bum, but you know, it's like the problems are different. I think of our company, a funnel's the wrong word, but like you think of building a company, like the people are at the very bottom. The
Yeah.
people are like, you get great people, and that helps you do every step kind of from there forward. So I think of the people at the bottom, and then the product is like the next thing up. And that, because the people make the product, and then if you have a great product, well, it's a lot easier to sell. It's a lot easier to market. You know, it like helps every other function of your business be good. So we especially focus on trying to find awesome people, and we have. Like I really am obsoleting myself over here because everyone else is better at everything than I am. So I just have random opinions about the app and about stuff. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been definitely, it's a little different. You need more process, you know, like it's changed, but I've kind of like made peace with the fact that everything's always changing. Nothing is ever working completely right. There's always something that's broken. And that's relatively easy for me. I do pretty well in the kind of uncertainty. I don't need or like a lot of structure, but we've now got people and processes in place that are kind of helping structure everything. And yeah, so one thing I remember looking at something, just talking about like the day, like, what does a day look like
Yeah.
for me? And it really, my kids joke, it's like, all you do is talk. Like I just sit in meetings all day, but a lot of the time. And I talk, I try to listen. I'm trying to be better at listening, but that really is, if you can find people that are better than you, then you hand off the work. In fact, I tweeted something about this. I said something about Elon Musk. I said, Elon Musk works harder than you. Like not only, I mean, obviously he's way richer. I said, he's way smarter than you, and he works way harder than you. Not only that, he's got 1,000 people that are way smarter than you, also working way harder than you. And they're all working on his behalf toward like a thing that they're trying to do. And that to me, I mean, we're not remotely on that scale, but like finding people that are smarter than me that are going to work hard in this one direction is, I think that's like a band name, isn't it? I'm veering off course
One
here.
Direction.
But that's what's I'm realizing more and more is that like it's about the people, stupid. It's not about like your clever idea for the app or something else. It's just about getting great people and trying to help everyone see what's possible so that we can all go in the same direction.
Yeah, I love it. You know, when you're not doing podcasts and getting haircuts and those kind of things, or working, right?
Yeah.
What else do you like to do?
Oh man. So gosh, I like reading. I read a lot of like science fiction, kind of Name of the Wind, big fan of Name of the Wind. Anything by what's this guy's name? He wrote the like Way of Kings. That's really great. So I like doing that. I play Fortnite with my kids, well, and by myself. I play too much video games in the evening time. I like to golf. I like people. I'm an extrovert. Like I get energy from being around people and kind of being out and doing things.
Yeah.
So, anymore, it's I do a lot of this stuff, but a lot of it I like to do like with my kids. I've got an 8-year old, a 6-year old, and almost a 4-year old. And so it's boy, boy, girl. And, you know, it's a lot of fun. Also, occasionally like ripping my hair out, slamming my head against the wall because they have a way of pushing your buttons that is just incredible. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of fun stuff. I'm trying to spend time with my family and then trying to work the balance. And I tell everyone that we hired this. Like, I'm not going to ask you to do more than I'm doing, for sure. And I'm also not going to ask myself, like, I'm going to try to run a sustainable, like, I don't want to miss my kid's childhood. Like, I feel like, and you see it happening, not like you see it, you're missing it, but you just see. I mean, I have an 8-year old now, and I remember when he was 2. He's not 2 anymore. And you really, like, that's gone. And anyway, I feel really blessed and compelled to try to be as present, like with my family and my kids, especially as I can, but then balancing that against working and then also against being supernaturally lazy. I'm the laziest person. Like, I'm shockingly lazy. And so between working, being this lazy, and trying to be a parent and a husband, it's a full-time job. I'll tell you what.
I hear you. I mean, I think that being lazy, quote unquote, like you end up thinking of ways to do stuff more efficiently,
No, yeah,
and thus
yeah,
great ideas are born, right?
yeah. It's like it's all born out of like carrying 12 grocery bags in,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like I'm not making another
There's
trip.
got to be a better
Uh,
way. I'm
Yeah,
getting a
yeah.
wagon.
It,
I'm
it
bringing a
really
wagon.
was. It's like I don't want to do any extra work that doesn't need to be done. Yeah. So there is a benefit to the laziness, but that it's good to remember too that other people are lazy. A lot of people work
Yeah,
hard, but everyone wants things to be simpler, faster, easier, and
absolutely.
it's what we're trying to deliver.
It gives you more time to spend with your family and do the things that you really enjoy doing. So, absolutely. We're almost out of time here, so I'd love to know one last thing. Do you have any advice for others that may be listening to this that are, maybe interested in technology, not sure if it's for them, think that the way they're doing something today, the way they've gotten to where they're at today is good enough. They don't need to look at this. What would you say to those type of people?
I mean, in general, I would just say try it.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you try it and you don't like it, hey, it's easy to quit. We're not. It's simple, free trial. We even have like a free version. But I would say that for us, for Leap,
yeah,
now you don't have to try everything all the time, but it's easy to have an opinion without experience. Like nothing is easier than to follow the kind of momentum of history, how you've been doing things. Trust me, I know, because like that's what we were doing, and it was hard to kind of to change,
yeah.
but it is really, really, really low overhead to try CompanyCam. You can get everyone up and running. Like you have a team, you got 10, 15, 20 people. You can have everyone up and running in less than 5 minutes, like 2 minutes. It's really simple. They can be sort of documenting, you can be communicating. So yeah, that my recommendation is just try it. If you try it and you don't feel like it's worth it or whatever, I mean, hey, at least you've got it. But what you'll probably find out is, oh, wow, this is actually really helpful. I didn't realize it was going to be this simple to get up and running. And yeah, I can see this solving some problems that we have. And so, our thing is we're always going to bet on the product. We're always going to bet on the fact that we are bringing a ton of value. And sorry, I say this a lot around our company, but like, a lot of startups, you have like a goal of, are you going to exit and what's going to happen? And all we really talk about is like, creating value. If you create value, you can capture value. You don't have to have a big fancy plan on the other side of how you're going to get to here, and then you're going to get with these people, and then you're going to IPO, or do all this stuff. For us, it's like we are going to strive to keep creating more and more value. If we create more value for our customers, then that will transfer into value for our company. And like that is the simple formula that we're running on. And so if you get with CompanyCam, the sooner you get here, the earlier you're going to get the value, and then we're going to keep bringing it in the future. So that's the pitch.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And if they do want to learn more, they can go to, and correct me if I'm wrong, companycam.com/leap.
Companycam.com/leap, LEAP. And there's a special deal in there. I think awesome. You get 50% off your first 2 months if you still get the 14-day free trial. And then CompanyCam is $19 per user per month. That's for unlimited photos, projects, mobile photo PDF reports, checklists, all the stuff that you can do in CompanyCam is all included. So,
Luke, this has been awesome. Really appreciate the time today. And I think the listeners are really going to take a lot away from this. So appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot, Tom. Good to talk to you, man.
Yeah, you too.